Hello, Challenge A friends. I'm going to show you how to access the Math Map Companion Guide in the CC Connected Learning Center for Challenge A. So first thing you want to do is go to the Learning Center. Make sure you're on Challenge. Make sure it's the year 2025. And then you want to scroll down here to Semester 1, Week 7. Then all this stuff will pop up and just scroll all the way down to the very bottom where it says the Math Map Companion. And this is an interactive resource. Then you can launch full screen. So now it'll just take up your whole screen. And this is the Math Map Companion. And the way that you use the Math Map Companion is like a book. You will click here on this top corner and it'll turn the page. And here is the math map itself with all the different domains. The complex domain is the domain we are going to be using in class. They're also the booklets that you purchased. And the math map companion is basically the teacher's guide to each booklet each week. There are, you can click on it and then see each page, and you can click on the different parts of the page to learn more about each concept that's being introduced. That's the back of the front cover. You can also click here on this guide, the side on the thing on the side, and choose the page that you're on. So let's say you're working on page 2 and you have a question about what does this mean on page 2. You can click here and it'll give you videos to learn more about the concept that's being introduced and how to fill out the answers and all that. So to return back to the companion, you can click on that symbol there. Okay, and so complex is the domain we'll be in class, but over the summer, we're going to be, uh, Liam and I are going to be going through the fractions. The fractions is just a few levels down, so it's simpler. It's all going to be basically the same content, the same concepts, just simplified, more simplified. So to become familiar with the math map over the summer and to kind of practice the skills of basically teaching yourself how to use logic and reason to come up with the answer, we are going to use fractions, which is just a lower level of the domain, or the lower level of the domain underneath complex, the complex domain. So we will be using fractions. We'll be going through the booklet, the printables day by day. Okay, so what we'll do is we will open up to week 2 just to show you here. You can click here to download, and right away you can see the pages. This is the math map. This is the cover, and this is the inside of the cover. These ones I wouldn't print. But I am going to go ahead and print pages 1 through 16. So there's 16 pages, and the goal is to do 4 pages a day. And then here after page 16, you can see the answers for pages 1 through 4 on the solutions page. So this is solutions, and it's for all 4 worksheets that you're supposed to do each day. So you can access the solutions page and print those also, because the way that we'll use the math map, we will be going through, I will give them a worksheet, 4 worksheets a day, 4 pages a day. They will go through and try to figure out what on here looks familiar to me, and can I figure out how to fill in the answers. they'll go ahead and try to fill out whatever they can understand, and whatever they can't understand is totally fine because they are allowed to look at the answer key and use the answer key to fill in the answers that they couldn't figure out. They will also have other resources with the complex that's not available here with the fractions, but with the complex booklets, there will be charts that they can reference, and there will be pages called the invention page and the memoria and arrangement page. And those pages are pages that they can use to flip back and try to see if they can figure out how to fill in the answers. So those are the different ways that you can go about doing it. Try to figure out whatever you can. Whatever you can't is totally fine. You can go and try to find the answer either in the charts, the memoria and invention, or memoria and arrangement, the invention page, or you can simply look at the answer key and fill in the answers. And the purpose of this is to load the grammar into their minds, to load in those notations, those definitions, those diagrams, just whatever they're copying, whether by figuring it out or from the answer key, whatever they're writing and filling in is going to be imprinted in their minds, even if they don't fully understand it. And eventually it will become second nature to them because they're going to do this over and over and over. Because if you notice here, page 1 starts with this box here, just as an example. It says do 0 dimensions. And then over here we have this diagram. Well, if you go down to, so he will do 1, 2, 3, and 4 on day 1. And then on day 2, he'll start with page 5. Look, it's the same thing. 0 dimension and this diagram here. So it's repetition, repetition, repetition. So if he's looked at the answer key one time, both times, every time, it's gonna get imprinted in his brain. He's eventually going to have this just engraved in his mind, even if he doesn't fully understand it. And as he moves on through the math map, he will eventually begin to understand what it is he's actually been doing all this time. And that is the classical method for anything. You start with the grammar, you start with practicing. You might not fully understand what you're doing, but eventually it all starts to click. So yes, I will show you how we're using this alongside the Math Map complex booklets, because those are where we're going to get those charts and those invention pages and memoria and arrangement pages to kind of pull it all together and help to figure out these problems.